Hello everyone and welcome back to Football Forecast. In today's video I will be reviewing Barcelona PSG, which was a magnificent game of football between two brilliant sides, two technically brilliant sides, and they really did match each other, but PSG found a way right at the end to win the game. And if you enjoy this video, it'd be great if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel. So how did this game start? Barcelona did start the better in this game, and I think that's expected to happen. Barcelona are expected to sort of dominate the ball from the start, press high, because that is Barcelona. They're at home, and that's how they usually play in most games, especially in their home games. And the idea was to sort of try score that early goal, which they did eventually get through Ferran Torres, and it was a brilliant ball from Marcus Rashford. And once again, we're seeing this thing of Marcus Rashford is actually a brilliant player. He was just in the wrong environment at Manchester United. No one's going to convince me otherwise. Marcus Rashford is actually a very good footballer when he's on form, when he's playing well, and he's actually one of the best in the world, and he's a world-class footballer, and we're seeing that once again. Lamine Yamal also created a lot of chances in this game. Look, they weren't put away, but he did create quite a few good chances, and look, Nuno Mendes, I think, played pretty well up against him. I thought that was going to be the real game changer. It was Nuno Mendes versus Lamine Yamal, and I actually think on the off, I think Mendes probably got the slight better of him. Lamine Yamal eventually got him booked, but I don't think Lamine Yamal ever sort of really had a threat against Mendes taking him on. He looked great in the first 10 minutes, and he dribbled past him like sort of that one time, and that's about it. The chances Lamine Yamal created were all just sort of passes through, like sort of through balls, so just trying to get sort of Ferran Torres, Rashford, players like that in behind, but nothing was really created, I don't think, sort of because Mendes was weak defensively, or he beat Mendes. So I'd say overall Mendes won that battle, and that was a key moment. And also the other reason Mendes won that battle is because he also got the assist to Mayulu. I mean, Mayulu is very inexperienced striker, but he took the goal so well. It's poor defending, and it's pretty unlucky defending actually from Kubasi, who just sort of slips over. And look, Mayulu's proven to be a dangerous player. We've seen this already previously in this competition. He's scored a goal in the Champions League final against Inter, so the last goal to really rub salt into the wounds. But yeah, Mayulu is a decent player, but he's definitely not sort of starting PSG level for this game, and that's what impressed me so much for PSG, is that they had a weaker side and they still managed, I think, to outplay Barcelona, especially in that second half. I think the first half you give it to Barcelona, the second half PSG was so good. It was exactly what you sort of get from a PSG side, and I think in the first half PSG sort of just dug in, used Pacho and Zabarnyi. Pacho especially had to make a lot of clearances, as well as Zabarnyi. There were chances that Barcelona got cleared off the line by Zabarnyi, Pacho. They were brilliant today. I thought the whole defence was brilliant, especially Hakimi in that second half, making loads of attacking runs, and it was overall a very good defensive display from PSG, and they deserved, I think, the 3 points overall, and that's quite amazing to see PSG play this well, considering they've got so many problems. And then the final goal from PSG does come from Achraf Hakimi, who attacked brilliantly, as I was just saying. And it was a lovely ball into Gonçalo Ramos, and it was a great finish from Ramos. And that is the issue with Barcelona, isn't it? When they play this aggressive high line, when they sort of press for as long as they can, they do eventually get tired, and that is their weakness in this competition. And that, for now, is why I don't have Barcelona as my favourites for the Champions League. I have PSG. I think PSG are going to go back-to-back, and I think that performance summed it up tonight. With a weaker attack, not the attack that PSG would have wanted, they still managed to pick up the 3 points against a very difficult game. You'd argue one of the most difficult games against Barcelona this season. And yes, so it was a very good performance from PSG, and it's great to see, I think, for Gonçalo Ramos' confidence, considering he didn't even start this game. He would have definitely expected to start, considering all the injuries that they had. They had Desiree Doué out, they had Dembele out, they had Kvaratskhelia out, and he still didn't start, but he came off the bench and made the correct impact and scored the goal. And now, look, Luis Enrique will be more encouraged to use him more often, I think. So yeah, a very good performance from PSG. I think Barcelona should be so disappointed they haven't actually won this game, because the PSG side was depleted. Like, there's no doubt they still have quality in the side, but it's not the PSG side that won the Champions League. The back four and the goalie are fine. Like, obviously Marquinhos isn't available, but Zabani is a very good defender, so that's fine. But then you go into the midfield, and straight away you see no João Neves. I thought João Neves was a key player and the reason why PSG actually won the Champions League last year. And obviously you got Ruiz and Vitinha next to them, who are brilliant. There's no doubt about that. Then you got Bakula, Mayulu, and Mabaya. I mean, Mayulu and Mabaya, they look like really good talents. I think that was obvious to see. They played really well. But they're not Ousmane Dembele, they're not Desiree Doué, they're not Kvaratskhelia. Even Barcola, who's been playing really well, doesn't even start in this PSG side. And I think we saw that today why he wouldn't usually start, and that's because his finishing isn't quite up to standard. And that was, I think, was obvious to see. He had good chances, Barcola. But basically, I think Barcelona should be disappointed considering this is a weak PSG side. There's no doubt about this. They have quality, but it's not a full-strength PSG side. And for me, that sort of shows that Barcelona aren't quite ready yet and don't have the quality to win the Champions League, which is going to be hard to find, I think. And that is because, obviously, with Hansi Flick's high system, they have to win games quickly, which they don't always do. But also, I think Barcelona are going to struggle in terms of they can't invest. They can't just buy players in positions where they need. They can't just add extra players, which will cost them in the long run because of their limitations in the transfer market. There's no doubt that Barcelona had some injury problems, and they played well in that first half. As I said, Lamine Yamal, Marcus Rashford were the two best players on the pitch, I thought, for Barcelona in that first half. I was surprised. I thought Pedri and Vitinha, the two sort of best midfielders, I would say, two of the best players on the pitch, actually struggled at points, like with their passing. Vitinha obviously cost PSG their first goal, but I also thought Pedri made mistakes throughout this game, and it's not like Pedri and Vitinha to be the sort of cause errors. I thought De Jong was lucky to stay on the pitch, if I'm being honest. That was a really bad challenge on Nuno Mendes, but considering it wasn't given on pitch, I don't think there's enough evidence, or it's an absolute mistake to overturn, so I'm absolutely fine with it staying as a yellow. But I thought De Jong was a little bit lucky to stay on the pitch. Looking at this Barcelona defence, now I'm still trying to understand why Ronald Araujo doesn't play a minute in this game. Now I understand Araujo's struggled at Barcelona in the last couple of years under Hansi Flick's system. It hasn't been sort of the easiest couple of years, and he cost Barcelona a couple of years ago against this PSG side. But in general, Ronald Araujo has played well this season, as far as I know. I don't watch Barcelona every week, but as far as I'm aware, Ronald Araujo has actually played really well for Barcelona. So if there are any Barca fans, any people that watch Araujo on a regular basis, explain why he's not actually played a minute. Because even when Eric Garcia goes off, I was almost certain it would be Araujo that comes on, but it's Christensen. And I don't think Christensen's at the level of Ronald Araujo, as far as I'm aware, so I thought that was strange. Then now the other players you look at defence, as I said, Kubasi had a bit of a mistake. Koundé, Martin obviously came off for Balde. Good to see Balde back. But this, in general, Barcelona side is very good. Obviously, they missed Rafinha a bit, and he probably would have played in a 10, because I thought Dani Olmo had an alright game, but not his best. And then Lamine Yamal, Marcus Rashford were brilliant. And then, obviously, Torres starting up front. I don't think you can argue with that, because Lewandowski scored. So it was a decent lineup from Barcelona. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But they just didn't play well enough in that second half. I think they ran out of energy. That was obvious at the end of the game, where Barcelona were really on the back foot, and it was PSG dominating the game. And I think PSG thoroughly deserved their 3 points. I think they played the better football in the second half. I think they tried to attack more. And look, it was two teams that were definitely going for the game, but one team just doesn't have the energy to keep on going, and that comes down to tactics. So that's something that Flick needs to think about for going further in this competition into the knockout stages, because this will happen again. I don't think there's any surprises that this happened really, and this can happen again, and he's going to work out, look, what do we do in these sort of situations when we're coming up against a quality side like PSG? Because there's loads of other teams that look like they could do this to them this season. I look at the likes of Bayern Munich. I look at the likes of Real Madrid. Real Madrid are definitely a threat to this Barcelona side now. I think more of a threat than last season. The key for that one is they can get at them a bit more defensively, but I do think that teams with pace and behind and threat and just a decent defence, I think Liverpool can get at them. I think there's so many teams that can get at this Barcelona side right now, even though Barcelona are one of the best sides in the world. And I have no doubt that they will win La Liga, because these sort of performances will only happen every now and then. And I also don't think it helps, but I can't tell you if Barcelona were playing at home. Obviously, I know that's Barcelona's home stadium, but the atmosphere is so poor. And that comes down to, I don't think the fans are very good. Maybe that's something to do with season ticket holders not being allowed in the stadium, not having the same sort of rights or leverage because of a different stadium, not the Camp Nou. But it also comes down to obviously being in a different stadium. But that just doesn't help when you got PSG is all you can hear, and they dominated the atmosphere. And I really felt like that didn't help Barcelona. You saw Yamal trying to lift the crowd multiple times, and just all you heard was the PSG. So just nothing really helped Barcelona in terms of a home atmosphere, and that's really important for Champions League games. We've always seen the importance of home atmosphere, especially in second legs of Champions League, which Barcelona will play. There's no doubt they will play it, go far in this competition still. Let me know your thoughts on this video as well as this game. Do you think PSG deserve to win like I thought? And if you enjoyed this video, it'd be great if you could subscribe to the YouTube channel.